today I'm back with another banger, and today we got a 98 Firebird. And what I'm going to go ahead and do today is we're going to go ahead and replace this fuel pump. But if anybody's seen the replacement on this job, it's pretty much a nightmare because you pretty much got to drop the rear end. But we're not going to be doing that today. What we're going to do today is go ahead and cut a little trap door in the trunk. So first thing what you want to go ahead and do is go ahead and unplug this battery. We go ahead and unplug the negative side, tucked it down. And you also got your fuel pressure rail right here. You want to go ahead and release this pressure up in here. Now if you got a fuel pressure gauge regulator, I would just screw that on there and release the pressure up out of there. But what I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to go ahead and just pretty much stick my finger up in there because it's already dead. I wouldn't recommend this because if you got 40-50 psi's up in there, it's going to just speed up in your face and it's going to be everywhere. So do not push this in while you're just sitting up in here in close range. I would not recommend that. Put a fuel pressure regulator on there and just release the pressure. If you don't have a fuel pressure regulator, you can just pretty much get a screwdriver, stand back and do that, blah blah, but I still wouldn't even recommend that. What I would do is pretty much go ahead and leave the battery turned on, and keep turning the engine over until you remove this pressure out of this. And you can also remove the regulator from the fuel pump, which will be right here if I'm not mistaken. Boom boom. So after that is go ahead and done, you remove the pressure. I've already went to the back and I've opened up this, assembled it, went ahead and pulled it to the side, pretty much pulled that out of the way, flipped that carpet back, and I went on ahead and got to this area right here. Pulled this also to the side, which ain't nothing to it, but we got a little square pretty much marked out if you guys can see that. And what I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to go ahead and take my 3-inch cutting saw and lightly cut this. The fuel tank is up under this, guys, so you don't want to really cut deeply or you will be making a big explosion, kill everybody up in the parking lot, be about 40-50 people dead. But we ain't gonna talk about that. But we're gonna go ahead and lightly cut this thing out today. So I go ahead and peel this back. I'm only gonna cut this side, this side, this side, and I may cut a little bit in that just to make it peel back. But let's get it going, guys. All right, so I'm gonna start off on this thing. Make sure you got some safety equipment available. Alrighty, got my first cut through there, so I'm gonna run back there. Just make sure it's a clean cut. Alrighty, now I'm gonna go ahead and hit these other sides, tack that top up a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and peel that back. Alrighty guys, now that I got all of this, I'm just gonna go ahead and tack it up in this area. So to give it the proceeds of more of bending right here instead of back there, I'm gonna go ahead and take a scrap pair of jeans. You probably want to do this with your hands because it will be pretty sharp. I'm going to hold down right there and I'm going to pull back right there. And there we go, accessing the fuel pump. I may go ahead and slide back a tad bit more so I can go ahead and get a little bit more clearance, but let's see what we got. Alright guys, so I did go ahead and cut back at maybe about like 4 more inches, but I did go ahead and take a look due to this line right here. I went on ahead and took a look at the new fuel pump, and if you look at the new fuel pump, you see those 2 lines that go all the way over there. So therefore these lines right here go all the way over there, and we will have to go a tad bit more back. And so I'm going to go ahead and lift that piece up a little bit more back, and once I can go ahead and access those top of those lines, I can go ahead and disconnect everything and go ahead and pull this thing up out of there. Keep tunes, guys. Careful right up in this area, guys, because those lines cross paths right over here. If I'm not mistaken, they actually got a spot well right there, so we maybe have to go ahead and drill that out so we can go ahead and flip that flat back, or go ahead and just cut right down here. I'm gonna go ahead and get a shot from down here, see what it's looking like, and see what our best options are. So I went on ahead and cut it back a little bit farther straight. I can barely see the second connector right there. I believe I can't reach up in there and get it. So now I done disconnected these lines, unplug this connector, and I'm gonna go ahead and take this 8mm bolt. Go ahead and get my magnet tray so I can collect those, and I'm gonna go ahead and remove, work this thing up as one piece. There you go. Now I can get a little playroom to go ahead and disconnect these here. You want to just push those tabs down on the outskirt. Barely get a little plate room. Try to get this up a little bit more. Can't really get the back side of it. Alright guys, so I went on ahead and messed around with these clamps for a little bit, probably like 5 minutes or however. Everybody knows those things are a pain in the butt, but what my best suggestions are is get you a little hose tool, something like this, and you can go ahead and go in here like that, push those tabs down, and try to go ahead and wiggle those wires apart while you got the back one loose as well, pretty much. If you can get both your hands on it, you can sometimes clamp them both down, push them in, and then give them a yank back and pray for the best. Hopefully they'll pop out. But now that I got all of this disassembled up here, I'm gonna go ahead and take you guys to the bottom. So I went on ahead and did jack the car up, and I'm gonna take you guys under here. And so you guys can, let me get you guys a good view. You guys can see what connectors I'm gonna go ahead and disassemble down here. For number one, it's gonna be this one pretty much plugged in right here. I'm gonna go ahead and remove that. That's coming from up top at our fuel pump. And we got two connectors that's plugged up right here, side by side. I think I can go ahead and there's one, there's two. Alrighty, now that I got those disconnected, I can go to the top and go ahead and pull these connectors all the way through. Now that I'm up top, I'm gonna go ahead and these wires, get those wires up to the top. Go ahead and turn this the way that it's going to be turned. We can go ahead and start to remove it. I like to let them sit right there for about 35-45 seconds so they can go ahead and drain the gas up out of there so you won't have too much spillage. I'm gonna go ahead and fold that filter to the side. Watch that arm, and you're gonna install it the same way. Fold that filter down like that and slide it to the side. Alrighty, so guys, with any car part, I like to go ahead and send them side by side, make sure everything is everything and they're the same, especially like the connectors. Make sure the connectors line up the same, has so same kind of prongs. You would hate to get this thing up in there and then come to find out this is not the exact one. So go ahead and line them up side by side, make sure the connectors are good, and then you got to go ahead on your new fuel pump. It does not have no new connectors. Sometimes you get them in the pack, but unfortunately in this one I did not. Only thing they gave us extra is a new seal, which that's good at least. So I'm gonna go ahead and take off these old ones right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and install those on the new ones. And it's pretty easily, all you gotta do is pull up the back tabs and go ahead, and I'll show you guys real quick. Go ahead and pull up these tabs right here. There you go. Pull that side up. Go to the other side. Snap that side up, and they pop right up off of there. Now I'm gonna go ahead to my new one. I'm just gonna take these safety caps off. Go ahead and slide those right up on there. Alright, now that I got all of my gaskets on, got my ring on, got the connectors, I'm gonna go ahead and get these out of the way now before I get too far in and can't get them off. I'm gonna go ahead and feed the wires back down. Make sure those got a clear passage. I'm gonna grab my filter just as I took it out. Watch my float. Go ahead and slide it in just as that. Tuck you in there a little bit. Go ahead and rest on the bottom. This is a spring loaded. Once it gets in there, but you got to get it in the correct position. There it goes. Get the vent tube back up in there. Now this is a critical part. You want to make sure your gasket at the bottom definitely seats in the correct place. I'm going to let it sit right there. I'm going to go ahead and connect these hoses. Then I'm going to go ahead and seat that correctly. Go ahead and push this down and get it all set in place. So now that I got everything back connected, my vapor lines and my pressure switch, I'm gonna go ahead and connect my connectors down on the bottom, and then we're gonna go ahead and crank this thing up and see what we got. Alright, got everything connected. We're on the bottom, connected my 3 connectors and plugged in the safety switch, so now I can go ahead and lower this thing down. Pretty close. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fold that back down, probably give it a few strap ties on each side, and go ahead and tack it down with some, kind of hard to say. Pretty much, if it was me, I'd just cut the whole flap off on and cover it back up with carpet, but might just fold it back down and go ahead and cover it back up. But I'm going to go ahead and crank this thing up and see what we got. Alrighty, now I'm going to go ahead and get this key turned forward. You should hear it whine.
Just turn it on. I mean, just like that, like turn it.
You guys heard that? Yep. Alrighty, turn it back again, ma'am.
Turn it off?
Yep.
Okay.
And turn it forward to crank it up. And there we go, you guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. Catch you guys in the next one. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Peace out.